Hi, this is again Volleyball Explained Podcast, and our edition about the Italian League. Today, our team is Ronnie and me. Nicola is busy, so he's not able to join us. But traditionally, we talk about the Italian League. The playoffs started. Of course, today our two different topics than the Italian League will be, of course, the Champions League semi-final and also the Olympic qualifiers. We have the draw for the Olympic qualifiers for Paris to 2024. So we're going also to comment on that. But firstly, of course, our main topic, as usual, is the Italian league and the playoffs that started some time ago. We have three matches played in each pair of quarterfinals, and the most interesting part for now is that there is no quarterfinal that ended. So all matches, all quarterfinals are two wins against one for the other side, and probably here is the moment to show the graphics of Nicola. These graphics are prepared by Nicola. So, Ronnie, first of all, some overall comments, if you want, about the quarterfinals.
Well, there has been a interesting series all over for the quarterfinals. Even especially that one with the Milano and Perugia. I didn't thought that Milano will gonna win even a set, but they stepped out and they were close in the last game to win again two sets. Perugia reacted in the second, and they were able to win it after all. Very interesting series in Civitanova versus Verona, and Monza taking advantage of that virus that get Trentino in the second match, and of course Modena versus Perugia, the most interesting quarterfinal series of them all. So because I say this because it's the quarterfinal with most stars playing in it. So you have Olympic champion, you have people that have won meaningful
Two
things.
Olympic champions.
Yeah. So let's see what we're gonna discuss in the next few minutes.
Okay, we'll do it, of course, quarterfinal per quarterfinal. Let's start with Perugia Milano, because Milano won the second match 3-2, won sets in both first and the third match. The fourth match is during the weekend. But do you think that the peak of Perugia has passed? Because it's visible for anyone that they're not playing the level they played before.
And of course, you have to understand this is a team that was undefeated all season long, and they felt the pressure when they got their first defeat versus Piacenza in Coppa Italia. So after that, it has been a team that has his lows and highs like everybody else. Of course, they still have the players to win it like Serie A and Champions League, but it will be very close. Thankfully, all the years, the playoffs are played in a very the best of five format, so they have time to change their mentality in the next game. It's not easy to beat this Perugia by any means. Imagine doing it three times. It's almost impossible. But it is possible now because we are in the last part of the season. players are tired, even if they change his team uh, in every match. They feel the the heavy of the entire season on their backs, and yeah, that's something that you have to keep in consideration. For example, Herrera is a Cuban opposite that doesn't play often. He was playing like 2 or 3 times in a month, but now Anastasi have given the opportunity to start in the all 3 games of the series. He only could do something in the first one. The second and this last one was very bad. And I'm saying this, and I'm a Cuban, but I know that it is not easy to any player to step up and doing well, especially this part of the season. But well, Milano has been a strong team blocking, especially Piano. He has been very well in the game 2 and now game 3, and of course Ishikawa, even with his size, has been delivering good performance. Yeah, the only problem with this team of Milano is that they never really, you know, get to connect well that diagonal between Porro and Patri, and it has been a problem the entire season. So let's see what we're gonna find in Sunday. So yeah.
Yeah, and some words from me. I didn't watch the first and the third match. However, Milano won sets in both matches, so it was not a whitewash. And in the second match, I watched pretty much all the match. I would like just to mention that for me, Perugia looked too confident. There were in some way they were not believing that they can lose this match, and they were very coxy of they're going to win, and they didn't at the end. So Milano equalized the series, and I won't be surprised if they can do it again. However, of course, Perugia still is the biggest the favorite to end it even on Sunday. Second quarterfinal, Trento against Monza. Here, the situation for me is a little bit different because in the second match, Trento was missing some of their best players, Micheletto, Lavia, and Podrascanin, I believe, and Lisinats was not fully ready to go. So Monza won this second match, and of course Trento. Okay, they lost the first set, but then they ended up very easily in the other 3 sets. So again, Matej Kaziski was the MVP.
Well, what can I say about Matej that hasn't been said already? He's a titleless fighter. With his age, most of the guys who play in their time are already retired. Others not playing at a high level, but he's still committed to get this team of Trentino at least to the semifinals, and that's what he's been doing all the season. It has been a good season for Micheletto after he won the World Championship. Neither Lavia, but Matej has been that key player that they need, even in the hardest moment, like they lost both in the World Club Championship and Coppa Italia finals. But it is what it is. I didn't follow too much this series because there is no Cuban involved, at least no Cuban that I'm interested in. So but yeah, I knew that it isn't gonna be a sweep. And there is Trentino. He's encountering too many problems to beat this team of Monza. um, Now that people are saying that Matej maybe is going to leave Trentino to play in Milano. Will be interesting. See if he can close the series next Sunday in his new city. Let's see, but after that, I don't see any problems of why Trentino cannot close the series the next Sunday. And here you go. The stats of Matej Kasiski: 21 points, 4 blocks, 5 aces. Sorry, a little bit low in attack, but it doesn't matter. He was the best player.
Yeah, by the way, let's mention here that the prediction of Nicole for this quarterfinal was either Trento in 3 or Trento in 5. So, according to his prediction, Monza will win the next match. And this is pretty interesting for me. Let's see what is going to happen there. But probably now is the moment to continue with the next match. And Civitanova LUBE against Verona. Here we have a clash with you because you cheer more for LUBE and I cheer more for Verona for different, pretty obvious reasons, of course. But I would say 3 very, very curious matches, 3 very interesting matches in different ways. The first match, Verona won 3-0, but in any of the sets, in all sets, Civitanova had the lead with 24-23. So they have set pointed all sets and they lost all sets. In the second match, Civitanova was leading 2-1 and I believe 12-7 in the fourth. Verona was able to turn it around and won in a tiebreak. So they were leading 2-0. And in the last match, home match for Civitanova, for LUBE, a sweep, 3-0. Amazing match of Alex Nikol, who played more or less as a opposite, not as an outside hitter as usual, in most of the rotations. And we will show a little bit in some minutes the stats of Alex. But what do you think here? Because very even, 4th team against the 5th team in the regular season. Verona was having their, I believe, nine matches in a row won, and they eventually lost the last match. Civitanova won 3-0. What do you think here?
Well, first of all, you have to give some credit to Verona because especially Keita, who has been sectional really well in his first season in Italy. He has been the key player of this Verona team. If the last year was Mosic, this year is Keita. And of course, you never have to rule it out of the equation Maxim Sapochko. Of course, they are the trio of big arms of this Perugia, this Verona team, coached by Radostin Stoichev. I think it is pretty open now that LUBE tastes the blood of the rivals. I think it will be very close this Sunday, and eventually, if LUBE won, everything can happen. Of course, I don't rule out yet this LUBE Civitanova team, even if they have been struggling all this season because some of the younger players like Gabi or Marlon Jan hasn't performed very well. Botolo is another player that I don't think belong to this organization, but they hired it because the foreigner problem. But yeah, very, very, very good match for Alex Nikolov. He has been outstanding for being his first season in Italy, especially in service. The boy has a good shoulder. I don't know where he get that. Must be his father, of course, was another good player of Bulgaria. But yeah, I think Alex can surpass him in the next season because Blado has a good temper, a good mindset in every game, but he lacked that greatness that his sons clearly has. So I think he can be the next Bulgarian star for the next years. He also fluent in Italian. I think that I didn't thought that he was, but when I saw his interview after the game, I was really surprised by how fluent he is. So maybe he grow up in Italy the first year of his life and then move to Bulgaria. I don't know well the history, but even with that, I think uh, Lube still has chances to win this series. Uh, Maybe let's see, because in the second game, as you mentioned, they should have won, but there is no should or maybe in sports. You need to win, and that's it. I don't like when people say, "Well, those guys deserve to win because they create the most opportunities." No, nobody deserves nothing. You just won. You go there and won, and that's it. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Firstly, Blengini said after the match that they eventually found their player who needs who have to score at the end of the sets, and probably they mean Alexander. That's very interesting because we should remind that he's only 19 still. He will be 20 at the end of the year. Secondly, the match that Alex played is a match that is happening to any player, including Wilfredo Leon or player like him and Yuan Di Leao and whatever, probably once a season, because to have 84% not
Yeah,
successful but efficiency is absolutely monstrous
yeah.
for an outside hitter. And thirdly, I found here a mistake by Nicola because he has wrote that he has four blocks for Muri, quattro Muri, but it's not blocks, it's aces. So 20,
Okay.
21 attacks and four aces for Alexander Nikov in this match. Not
Well, this is of course, this is a performance of a lifetime, because it is very difficult to receive like what 27, 28 balls and score 25 points. Or sorry, it was like 24 balls and 21 attack. Okay. Um, Maybe, and I won't say much because I want this kid success, but maybe because teams were not like prepared for this kind of rotation, being him in position two as a opposite, they didn't have any info of him when he was spiking in at that particular position. Something
yeah.
similar happened. You remember discussing this after um, Romano helped Italy to win the European Championship. You clearly mentioned that maybe because the team hasn't enough information of him, like an opposite, this could happen. And yeah, of course, his first season, besides that, his first season has been really, really good. Um, uh, it's a shame that he cannot pass very well because it will be a good addition to he and Jant playing together. But the times that they have been good, Lube has won. So, for example, maybe Jan didn't have his best game in this season so far, but for example, this game he had like 15 points, 4 aces and 3 blocks. That give you something. The game in the attack wasn't so well, but giving that serve pressure to a team like LUBE that have players that can perform well behind the 9-meter line is something. So that's why today Luke, Jan, and Nikolov both have 4 aces, 8 aces in total. So that's something. And LUBE needs to keep pressuring from the serves if they have to if they have to if they want to have a chance in the series. That's it.
Yeah, let's just add that the fourth match between Verona and Civitanova is scheduled for Saturday. The only match that will be played on Saturday, on the 1st of April. That's no joke. And let's go to the last quarterfinal between Modena and Perugia. You qualified it as the most interesting one due to the players, due to the teams fighting. Modena had the possibility to end it at home because they won the first match, they won the second match in a tiebreak, and they had the chance to do it at home. But Piacenza answered in a very good fashion. So the match, the fourth match, will be again at Piacenza. Home host. So, what do you think here? And do you think that Piacenza can do a full repairment and get to the semis?
Well, nothing is impossible, Bogdan. I think Modena has the same chances than Piacenza to win the series at this point. They only need one game. Yes, they were really bad in the last one, but they were facing the Coppa Italia champions, and a team that I think it should have won the second game, especially the second game. Piacenza has been struggling all the year. They are like the Modena last year and the Trentino before that year, but they at least won something. That Coppa Italia title was really good for them, and I thought after that they will get better. But after that Coppa Italia, they lose 2 games in a row. Even they lose the chance of playing for a European title, the CEV Cup. They lost versus Roeselare, that by any means is a better team than Piacenza, but you win in the court and you lose in the court. So they let this Belgian team beaten in their home 3-0. And I was expecting that in Piacenza they will get him. That happened with Montpellier, but didn't happen with Roeselare. So it was a tragic defeat. I think that caused a lot of trouble after that and the beginning of the playoff. But I think they are ready to come back to home and level the series. It will be a close match. I can feel it. So this was the first match between those teams that didn't end in a tie break. I know a lot of players are already tired, like Simon, who have been struggling all the season with his back. In fact, rumors are saying that he maybe skipped the VNL, and this could be a very important loss for Cuba national team because it's not what Simon can produce. His mere presence in the bench or in the court that gives those guys motivation. So let's see what happens. For now, I think Piacenza is in very good spot to tie the series next Sunday.
In my opinion, firstly, Piacenza is very hesitant in reception, and that's the reason for them to be hesitant at all for me. Because Leao and Lucarelli are for sure not the best receivers.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, most of the time they are decent, but nothing more. And Scanferwa could be a very great libero in the future, but he's not still this class to compensate the. Probably he can compensate the weakness of one of the outside hitters, but not both of them. Uh, in reverse, I believe that Modena is much more stable in these elements. However, they are not stable that stable in attack, and we know the complexities that Ngapet have time to tough, even though he's a magician in different situations. So we expected an even quarterfinal, an even series. Actually, I predicted a Piacenza getting to the semis in 4, but it's not going to happen. Probably they could do it at 5, probably not. I don't know. We'll see. But my wish is for this quarterfinal series to end in 5 matches, because this is going to be a blockbuster. The fifth match in Palapanini. It will be great. Okay, probably we can end with the quarterfinals in Italy with this. I don't. I won't ask you for predictions, because
Well,
it's probably okay. Let's go then. What do you think? What we are
well,
going to have in the semis?
well, in the semis, I think Perugia will close the series next Sunday, 3-1. Leon will be back. I will not. I will not admire if the game ends 3-0. Next game it will be close, but I think LUBE will win in tiebreak. Trentino Monza, I think Trentino will win 3-1, maybe 3-2, but I think the series will end next Sunday. And of course, this game, Modena versus Piacenza, I will say that it will end in tiebreak. I don't know. I don't want to say the who will gonna win, but I think we will have another tiebreak. So yeah.
But do you think that Civitanova and
Civitanova can win, and they should win, because I think I don't want to say absolutes, but I think I sense a momentum shift in this series after the first game. So I don't know if Verona can hold what is going to happen next Sunday. Saturday. But yeah, I think LUBE can level the series. Piacenza, on the other hand, have in front of them an experienced team with experienced players. So I don't think the third game victory will be enough to shake them. So that's why I think it will be close.
okay. By the way, I agree with you about LUBE and Verona, because LUBE are playing better and better in every match since the first. In the first match, they made over 30 mistakes. In the second match, they were on the verge of winning. They didn't, but still they played better than the first match, and the third match is without comment, because they just annihilated Verona in this match with the best performance of his career so far of Alex Nikolov. Okay, next topic: Champions League semis. Firstly, men. We have the champions from the last 2 editions of the Champions League, ZAKSA, Kędzierzyn Koźle, and Perugia in the first semifinal, and Halkbank against Jazepski Węgiel in the second semifinal. Let's mention here that Halbank defeated LUBE and ZAKSA defeated Trento in a third time in a row. Actually, for the
tell me, sorry, I was.
Yeah. What do you think? Because we lost two of the Italian teams in the process. We'll still have the champions from Poland, ZAKSA. We have another Polish team. We have also a Turkish team with Nimir Abdelaziz as an opposite. What do you think here? And do you think that ZAKSA can win it for a third time in a row? That means beating Perugia in two matches.
Well, if they do that, I will declare a fan of this team because I think in the last previous edition, without taking any credit, they were a little bit lucky, because when you win a series in golden set, it is a 50-50. So yeah, they had it. Last season wasn't too hard because of the exit of the Russian teams, and of course LUBE lose again in quarterfinals. That's have been the course of this team. This time Halbank Ankara did their job and won again in golden set. But LUBE should have won in Ankara to avoid this situation, but because they didn't, I don't think they will be able, of course, to beat GW playing bad like they are doing recently.
JW sounds very, very good thing because Jazepski is very hard to pronounce. So yeah, JW is very good. Nice idea. Thank you.
Yeah, but I know the first person that talks like that. JW, Jamcheski, something like that. Wiggle, sorry. But yeah, I think Koshle have this. We will have a hard time this year to conquer again the Champions League. They have been proved in the last Champions League edition that there is no hard team for them. But they will be facing probably the hardest team of all in the three champions in the all those years that they have winning. This is probably the hardest thing they will ever face. So let's see what will happen tomorrow. I think Perugia already is there. They fly on Monday, and they have practice today, and they will face tomorrow JW for the first match. I think it will be a 3-1 for Perugia, especially because Perugia, above all, isn't a hard team to beat at least one set. They have been proven that they are not a regular team that can give you 3-0 straight from the bench. I mean, they get the wins, but they don't get that easy matches. So yeah, I think 3-1 is a good result. On the other hand, I think this series is very, very close. Halbank doesn't have anything to lose. They have been giving Nimir rest in the Turkish league and prepared him for this moment. They also have Jeşke, who cannot play in Turkish league because of the foreigner restriction. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Jablonski is already qualified for the playoff in Polish Plus Liga. They didn't play like very focused this weekend, but it was like easy for them to overcome their rival. So let's see what happens.
Yep, and this could be the very first Polish final. However, I watched Trento against ZAKSA both matches most of the time, and I would say that ZAKSA didn't look that compact as a team as the two previous seasons. However, they were able to beat Trento, but Trento is not that confident in their performance as before, even comparing to the last season. So I would say that it's more about how Perugia will play than about how ZAKSA will play. Perugia is the favorite, but I wouldn't strike off ZAKSA because a lot of people did it in the last 2 years, and they were disappointed at the end, including a friend of mine who betted on Trento in the last final, and then asked me how that happened for the Polish team to win, and I said, and for me, they were the favorites, so you should have asked. When it comes to the second semi-final between Halbank and JW from Poland, it's a little bit hard to predict for me because Halbank has a big home advantage, I would say. Okay, Jarzewski, I believe they are the more complex team in terms of not having one opposite that is doing pretty much not everything, but most of the things. However, this home advantage for Halbank could potentially lead to a golden set in who has the home advantage in the who is the host in the first game, because I honestly
I think Halbank is the home in the first games.
Halbank has the is the host in the first game, even though in a golden set in the second match anything can happen. And if Halbank is able to win 3-0, 3-1, most probably in the first match, everything can happen. However, Jarzewski are the clear favorite. Let's go to the women, because in the women we have three Turkish teams in the semis. Vakıfbank, Fenerbahçe will play one against each other. Eczacıbaşı, I believe should be pronounced. The team of Tiana Bošković from Istanbul also will play. The only team from Italy being in the semis, and this team is not Conegliano. That's probably the biggest shock of all, because Conegliano lost to Fenerbahçe. I give it to you because you know something about Fenerbahçe, I believe.
Well, Jeff, they Fenerbahçe have changed since they get like Melissa Varga from the Chinese league, and now they form a trio with Ana Cristina from Brazil and Alina Fedoroseva from Russia. What I call the Fener Angels, like that movie. And of course, they have Macris, which a very good setter, experienced one, and I think Macris Carneiro, who is a very experienced setter in this team of Fenerbahçe. Will that with that they have been capable of beating like Eczacıbaşı and Vakıfbank in their league. So I think they will be a contender in this semifinal, even though Bakif have more experience in this type of competition. Let's see what's going on. It will be a derby because both teams are in Istanbul, and I think they consider more Fenerbahce versus Bakif Bank a derby than Shivasi versus Bakif Bank. So let's see what happens. But I think a surprise can come in, and Fenerbahce can take the series and be in the finals. On the other hand, you have Igor Gorgonzola Novara versus Shivasi. I think this is more open for Shivasi, and they will win 2 games. I don't think Evrat Karakul will be enough to stop Tijana Boskovic and company. But everything can happen. But I think, and I still think, that it will be a two games for Bitra.
Honestly, I wouldn't dare to predict anything about Vakif Bank and Fenerbahce. In principle, Vakif Bank looks the favorite, but I'm not sure that is the case this time totally. And as you mentioned, the Turkish team Exajibashir, I believe, will prevail against Novara. And lastly, in our podcast, we're going to talk about the Olympics that are behind the corner in Paris, 2024, a year and a half, even less than a year and a half to the Olympics in Paris. Let's hope that our both national teams will be there, at least in one of the two, men or women. But let's see to what is going to happen in the qualifinals.
Sorry, in the qualifiers.
Qualifinal is between a quarterfinal and a qualifier. This is okay. Firstly, with the men, we have Pool A, which will be played in Brazil, Pool B, which will be played in Japan, and Pool C, which will be played in China. The first two from each pool will qualify for the Olympics directly to join France as the host, and for the other five, right?
Yeah.
Places will be divided in other tournaments, and the teams that will qualify for these tournaments will be chosen according to the world rankings. Right?
Yeah, I think we have to mention that the zonal or the zonal qualifier are abolished. They will not be like an Orseca and a CEV qualifier, an Africa, and etc. After this qualifier, international qualifier, the next 5 teams will be chosen via world ranking, and the ranking will close after the regular phase of the 2024 VNL. So they will not count the playoff of the VNL, just the regular phase.
24, 23.
No, 2024.
2024. Yeah. 20, of course, 24 because
So the teams will have the teams that participate in the VNL will have two VNLs plus the European Championship. In your case, mine is Norsica, and other tournaments like this qualifier to get the enough points to be in a good position in the world ranking.
So there won't be there won't be any tournament more
after that. No,
Yeah, that's the point I would like to make, because I wasn't sure about it. So the other five teams will be will qualify according to the rankings
Yeah.
in between the teams that haven't qualified so far.
Yes, with the exception of if any uh, let's see, I don't know the word in of course, sorry, if any continent doesn't have already a qualifying team, uh, a place of that five will be given to that continent. So, for example, and this will happen if Africa doesn't have any qualifying team yet. One of those five spots will be given to them.
The last
So
the last spot will not be for the for
for
the
the
for
best
the
place team, it
on
will
it.
be for an African team. Yeah,
Yeah, for the best African team in the rankings. Yeah.
yeah. And so
Which is, by the way, this is very probable.
yeah, yeah, it is. Why you do you think that in this pool B is Egypt and Tunisia both in the same group? They will lose with anyone, but this game in particular, there will be five, like it will be like an Olympic final or worst for those teams. So yeah, because any of those teams can give an advantage over the other. So I expect that the African Championship this year will be hardly fight for those two. They also will get the chance to participate in the Challenger Cup. I don't know if it will be Egypt or Tunis, but one of those teams will be participate in that competition by FIBB. Still, but that I think that for those teams that cannot participate in first level competition, there is the need to create something like level two of BNL or something. Of course, they cannot give the same amount of points that they give in the first division of BNL. But yeah, I think because
Something like the golden league in Europe.
something like that is the Golden League doesn't give too many points.
Yeah,
So
it's very low in the.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's an opportunity to those European teams that doesn't have the level or their federation doesn't care about being in the BNL. Like for example, Belgium, who I think is a national team that should have been in BNL years ago, like the women's section, but doesn't really care. Yeah, that's an opportunity to them to play at least 5 or 6 games per year. So, like Ukraine, for example, they play in the European league. Sorry, in the Golden League. Of course, they will have their chances in this Olympic qualifier. So let's discuss briefly one of these
Okay, let's
pools.
let's let's go let's go then pool by pool. In the
Yeah,
first pool, okay, let's start with me in the first pool. I believe that here is the only pool that we have two very clear favorites in Brazil and Italy. Okay, we have Iran and Cuba, but I don't think your team and Iran can contest Brazil and Italy.
yeah. I don't think that is a 100% statement because, yeah, as you know, doesn't matter if Brazil is playing in Brazil. History has proven that the worst results of Brazil has been in their home soil. For example, 2002 World League, they lose the final versus Russia. 2008, they lose the semifinal versus United States. 2015, I don't remember who they lost to, but France won his first World League, and the last one was in 2017, the last World League that was played, and they lost the final versus France. So this is a team, of course, I will not forget the Rio gold, but that was an isolated result. And if you look the pool phase, Brazil didn't have a good time there, so they have to qualify in the last game versus France, and it was a close match. So I think in the current state of this Brazil national team, everything can happen. You have players like with almost 25, 35 years old. You don't see any young star coming up from them. Of course, they have that mindset of winning everything with the national team, but I don't think they will have a good time in this qualification tournament. And then you have Italy. Of course, Italy is the reigning world champion, but Italy will confront an busy and demanding European championship. So at that stage of the season, winning or lose a game can make the difference. And this is a tournament that is a round robin tournament. You don't have semifinals, you don't have finals, you don't have quarterfinals. So you just play, and whatever the result is, you will get that. So that's why I think everything can happen in this pool. I don't rule out Cuba or Iran. Maybe Cuba can win versus Brazil, but can lose versus Iran the day after. So yeah, it will be a close Olympic qualifier.
Okay, let's start with you in Pool B.
Well, I think Japan and USA in paper are the favorites, but because this can be the last chance of men's like Podraščanin or Kovacevic or many guys in Serbian national team. Maybe they will put and make the effort to qualify at this event. Of course, you cannot rule out Slovenia because they have a very promising team, an experienced team, of course. This can be, of course, the last chance for players like Urnaut, the middle blockers, Dejan Vinci and company to be in our Olympic Games. Slovenia has been growing since 2012 when they were the finalists in European Championship. I don't remember, it was 2012 or 2013. I think it was 13, sorry. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's see what happened. For me, this is the most balanced group because of one of the balance, because I think you have the Battle of Africa in one side, and then you have Turkey wanting to prove something, because as you know, Alberto Giuliani will be the coach of this Turkish team in this season, starting this season, and they aim to win the Challenge Cup and be at the VNL next year. So it will be close, but I think USA, of course, is the favorite to win it, and Japan is another team. They can overcome that deficit, that physical deficit, and can beat anyone. So for me, the favorites, of course, USA and Japan.
For me, the clear favorite is the USA team. Of course, probably Japan is next. However, I believe that in between Japan, Slovenia, and Serbia, we'll have the second team qualified.
Yeah.
But Serbia is probably in their lowest point since a lot of time. Slovenia is aging pretty well, I believe. Okay, they had their 2015 second place, 2019 second place, 2021 second place, all in the Euros, but I'm not sure they were able. But the problem here is that they will need to play 7 matches in how many days? 9, 10 days, something.
7 matches in 9 days, and they
4
will
matches
give
in 9 days.
they will give them a day off. So every team will have a day off. Of course, if your day off will be no sorry
2 days.
Sorry, all the teams will get the same day off because it's 8 teams. You have 4 games per day, so every team will get a day off, and it will be the same for all. I think after the third or fourth game, they will have to get a break. This is insane. Oh, by the way, nobody has discussed in this matter, but I think this is like very bad for the players. I think 7 games in 9 days or whatever, plus the travel, plus the practices. I mean, very bad choice by the FIVB. If I'm allowed to say it, it's a very bad choice. Yeah.
The problem here for some teams, including Slovenia and Serbia, are the substitutes, because when you need to play that many matches in that short period of time, you need substitutes. I don't think Slovenia do have it, with the pure exception of Moži Čornaut and Čebil, for example. They don't have a real substitute of Tomčić.
You have something like Stern. Chiga Stern, but
Giga Stern or I don't know, Alan Šket, but it's not on the same level. Okay, probably against Tunisia or Egypt it will work, but would it work against Turkey? Would it work against even Finland? I don't know. I believe that here we'll have, for example, Japan can win against Slovenia, Slovenia can win against Serbia, and Serbia can win against Japan. So, and I would say that it's very probable that Turkey will win one of those matches against Japan, Slovenia, and Serbia. I would predict that. But I don't know. It's USA is the clear favorite, but when it comes to the
everyone, even in Group A, will have to make like a good management of their roster, because you cannot play this tournament with the same 6 or 7 guys all the games. Of course, Cuba will need to choose when or where put like guys like Simon or Lopez or Jant, because even with Germany and Ukraine, you cannot allow those teams to beat you if you want to have a chance here. So I don't know what is going to happen. And the same goes to Brazil. Brazil cannot, if you see the Brazil squad, they rely too much in Lucarelli and Leal, for example, and they, after that, don't have anything else to go for. Italy can, even if the second squad manage to play well, because they play a different volleyball, but they will need to make adjustments because they will come from the European Championship. So let's see what the Georgie will do. But will be a even harder World Cup if Bulgaria plays at some point in the World Cup. I believe they did in 2007. You know what I'm talking about. This is a very short, was a short event, and too many games. Even with teams, you cannot go with a full bench, because you can risk to lose that game, and all your work will be for nothing. But Bulgaria had a nice experience. They qualify for Beijing in that World Cup. So but let's see what happened. The Group C.
The Group C, I would make this transition to Group C because only Italy and Poland, I believe they have this very long bench, especially Poland, but also Italy. And in Group C, I would say is even more bloody than in Pool B, because in Pool B we have Japan, Slovenia, and Serbia as the second favorite team. In Pool C, Poland will qualify, and if Poland didn't qualify, that will be the biggest shock of all, I believe.
Yeah.
but with the pure exception of Poland and probably Mexico, okay, maybe also Belgium, all of the other teams have their chances. And I would say that if, for example, I would say that in Pool A, 5 wins will be enough for second place. It's not that impossible that in Pool C, for example, 4 wins will be enough. Because let's say it in this way. For example, Bulgaria sucks. I'm not happy to say that, but it's true lately. But we beat Netherlands wherever we face them. In the Olympic qualifier, in a VNL 1 or 2 times, I'm not sure. Even with our substitutes, we beat them. Against Nimir, we beat them. Still, we have problems. We always have problems with Argentina due to their technical style, but the Netherlands doesn't have them. They beat Argentina. I believe in the last VNL they beat them. So we have this very strange situation. Canada is also in the mix. China is getting better, and China will be a host. That should be taken into account. So it's very hard to predict. Probably Argentina is the easier answer, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, I think Bulgaria has a lot of margin from BNL to European Championship and then this tournament to make a strategy and see how can they become relevant enough to say that they have a shot, first of all, because right now they are not even a team that you can say, okay, I can trust them, because they don't. When I see Bulgarian national team, I see a group of good players, some players better than others, but they don't play like a team. They just push to their side and hope for the best. And you cannot win like that, because I don't think that Mexico is better than Bulgaria. And I don't think that defeat in the World Championship means something. The only thing that happened in the World Championship is that Bulgaria didn't want to play because they were tired of losing and bad results, and they don't want to be even there, So I think this year of rest, of like getting a new coach, which is Plamen, which is someone that they know, and see how good in shape is Sokolov, because it will be very important. And in addition to that, Nikolov. I think that Nikolov was the player that Bulgaria needed. They needed like 4 or 5 years ago. Unfortunately, Nikolov is only 12 or 19 years ago, 19 years old, and he will have to get enough responsibility to lead this team to this kind of result, which is no other than beat Netherlands, Argentina, and Canada. I don't think, of course, Poland is out of the question, and China, maybe they can win a set against Bulgaria if Bulgaria allows that, but I think Bulgaria has pretty much chances to qualify like Netherlands or Argentina. I know for a fact that the Checo will not be playing in VNL. Also Conte. Those two guys are like like they have enough on national team, but maybe because they get this pool, they will seek the opportunity to be in another Olympic Games. So I don't know if they will decide to play this tournament, but if they play, will be very hard to anyone beat Argentina with those two players, even for Netherlands. So let's see what happened. Um, do you think now? This is a question. Do you think that with Plam and Constantino something changed?
It's very hard to say because for the first period of Plumman, I would say the following. I believe he's um, very appropriate coach, suitable coach for Russian teams because the mindset of Plum and Konstantinov is this very disciplinary mindset that I am the boss. You need to do whatever I say, and this is even if it's a little bit too harsh to the players, which is the typical Russian or old on this side of the Iron Curtain mindset. And I'm not sure if this is working now in Bulgaria and in the other countries on the west part. Let's say it in this way. But let's firstly, it would be very interesting for me to see if he will change a little bit this because I believe he need to adapt it, and this is the first question mark for me. Secondly, when it comes to the team and their chances, I would say that the bench will be the biggest problem because probably okay we can make some of a good team with Alex, with Tsetso Sokov, Martina Tanasov, but we don't have the bench, and this is for sure. We don't have it. And even if we have some players playing before aging, like Georgi Bratoev or Nikolai Nikov or even Theodor Saparov as the libero, they won't be able to play seven games in 9 days. And another important point is that Todos Krimov won't be playing in the VNL almost for sure, I would say. And the question mark if he's going to be back for the European Championship and for the
Well, I think first of all, I think like Penchev, the oldest one, was
he needs to be in the team for sure. That's my that I
yeah,
repeat that a lot of times.
Nikolai Penchev. He said it like, I don't know why I was ruled out of the national team. I think he had beef with with the Italian coach. I don't remember his name.
Silvano Prandi.
I think he had coached with Silvano, and then the other Bulgarian dude didn't think about him. So there was something in there, because of course Nicolo cannot win alone. That's out of the question, and the rest is see who will be. Of course, the other oxide hitter, maybe Asparuhov, but if is Asparuhov, you don't have reception. You don't have like nothing there. So let's see. But Bulgaria have a very busy will very busy this summer. That's for sure. Of
Okay, I believe that was enough for the men. Let's go to the women.
course.
Okay, here I believe also pretty hard to do in some of the pools. But let's start with pool A. What do you think?
Well, unlike men, women volleyball isn't too close. The levels I mean, in men you have like 6, 7, maybe 8 national teams that can perform well. In women you have like 3, 4, maybe 5 at the best. So, for example, in Pool A, China, Serbia are the main favorites. That's not a doubt. There is not like even something that can happen. Maybe Tijana Boshkovic have a bad day and she broke a leg. Something hopes God hopes no, but you know. But if that doesn't happen, I think China and Serbia are the main favorites to qualify for the Olympics. Dominican Republic is a team that it always been there, but at the same time don't. So I don't think they will have the strength to challenge China or Serbia. Same case goes to Netherlands, which have a new coach, but that doesn't be enough to put a decent team to challenge China and Serbia. Of course, China playing in their home soil, and Su Ting is back with the team. So that's not like I cannot even talk or discuss this because it is very clear um, that what's gonna happen in this pool. Then you have Canada, which is a emerging nation in women volleyball. They will use this championship to continue developing the sports in that nation. Good for them. Then you have Czechia, Mexico, and Ukraine. Those three are like the thanks for participate teams. So I don't think any of those three have a chance besides of course participate and getting this experience.
By the way, I just fixed here that there is not even one African team here
Hmm.
in between the 24,
Well,
which means that the best African team outside of the 24 will qualify for sure to the Olympics, right?
yeah, probably will be Kenya.
Kenya, yeah, that's yeah. I wouldn't say if this is right or not, but just a fact. Okay, the second pool B.
Yeah, Pool B, of course, you have three candidates: Japan playing in Japan, Brazil, of course, the reigning silver medalist in World Championship, and Turkey this year with Melissa Varga playing for them. This will be a huge upgrade to the Santarelli team, which of course is the new coach. We forgot to mention that. Um,
They swapped with
yeah, Guidetti will be
with
coaching
yeah.
Serbia, of course, and then you have Santarelli coaching the Turkey team. With Melissa Vargas will be a huge improvement over Ebrar Karakurt, I believe, both in serve and spiking. And of course, I think Melissa is taller than Karakurt, so in blocking, maybe she will have a good impact. I don't know how the players will embrace the fact that Vargas will be on their team because you know how people can be, how awful people can be. So I know that Karakuri is like the child of the team, but now with Vargas coming, and I think Vargas will have more time to play in that team. This can be a problem, you know. Of course, you have like Eda Erden, which is an experienced player of Turkey, is the teammate of Vargas. She will have, of course, her transition to the team, but let's wait and see how the pieces work together. Of course, this doesn't take the fact that Turkey lowest points are the outside hitters. They don't have any stars in that position, and you know, in these times in volleyball, having a good player in that position means like I would not say 50%, but like huge chances to win the game. So They, of course, they have opposite. They have decent setter, let's say. It's not that bad, and they have good middle blockers in Eda Erden and Serha Gunesh. But the other positions, I don't know so much. Then you have Japan playing Japan with Sarina Koga trying to be in the Olympics. I think for Japan, if they don't make it here, they can make it be a world ranking. It will not be a problem, you know. So yeah, and Brazil, of course, the second place in the rankings is the same thing. I think Brazil have enough to qualify for Paris, even if they don't make it here. Which, of course, I think they will make it in this tournament. I think Brazil is the favorite to win it. So let's see and wait. Of course, you have Belgium with Britt Herbos out of the of the of the VNL this year. Croatia won the spot. Croatia is not here, so you can see how funny is this situation. Croatia team that doesn't play here is in the VNL, and of course Bulgaria still. I mean, Bulgaria is a team like Canada. They recently put the effort to become better, like promoting the women in these sports. And last year they have been really decent in European Championship, but it's not enough yet to challenge Japan, Brazil, and Turkey. So
No, we are very far, and the problem is that a lot of players are not playing for the team, and okay, they are a little bit aging when it comes to women's volleyball, but yeah, it's not that clear the situation why some of them are not playing, etc. So the most we can get here is a fourth place.
yeah. And then you have, of course, Puerto Rico, Argentina, and Peru. Three teams that speak Spanish, and three teams that only will get the consolation of participating in this event. I think Argentina, Peru, and Puerto Rico are teams that doesn't have anything to do in this cycle, so they can forget about qualifying for Paris. Maybe the next year when sorry, the next Olympic when USA will be the host. Maybe they can aim to qualify there, but for now, just participating in this event will be huge for those teams. And then, of course, after you, Pool C.
Firstly, I was in the process. I was rethinking the idea of having these 5 teams qualifying only for the rankings, and I would say this is a pretty cool and good idea, because that makes any match meaningful in the
Yeah.
VNL 2023, in the European Championship or the other continental championship, in the VNL 2024, because that pretty much means that you need to play in every match, and every match counts, and this is very, very good idea.
And, and
Uh,
and and you don't have teams like Venezuela who did nothing to deserve to be in the Olympics, just
yeah,
win someone that again doesn't deserve nothing to be like Chile participating in the Olympic Games, and that's something that was discussed in the previous edition. Like always, the European teams were like were frustrating about this, because for no one is a secret that European teams are the best right now playing the sports. You have good teams in America, like USA, of course, and you have Brazil, you have Argentina, Canada, Cuba, etc. But it is in Europe the most high quality level teams. So yeah, it was like a shame to see, I don't know, Slovenia getting ahead of France 2 set by none, and then they lose and then Venezuela, who has been nothing in the last 12, 20 years, qualifying for the Olympics. That's what's really bad. So for that reason, the ranking will become a huge part of the process of qualification. Of course, there is still some issues to address. For example, if the ranking is one of the via to qualify for the Olympics, you have to give the chance to everything. Doesn't matter if they are weak or not, to at least get some points to the rankings. And how do you do that? By creating tournaments that allows that. So for example, in Norseca, we have something that is called Pan American Cup. Pan American Cup is a competition. Of course, no one sends their base team unless they don't have any team on BNL or I don't know, important tournaments. And that competition gives you at least 3, 4, like 10 points. It is good in this way to have at least one competition outside the BNL to give you something, because again, it's not fair for those teams like don't make it to the BNL. For example, in the men, Turkey, they don't qualify last year because we beat them, but they deserve to be in the BNL, and not China. China is only there because
Yeah.
Money reasons. But in
money talks, merit works.
Something like that. But of course, Qatar doesn't they don't even have players that born in Qatar playing for them. Maybe they have one or two, but the rest are like Serbians or something, and of the some people of the Balkans and Brazilians. So and there are chances that they want to ask the organization of a world championship there. Can you imagine that? And of course, FIV will grant this because they have money to do so. So, but it's not the current approach. Let's talk about Pool C.
Pool C, for me, the favorites are Italy and the USA. Very, very clear. I don't think Poland can get over them.
Well, if USA take this tournament like they took the World Championship, I don't know, because after the gold in Tokyo, they lost some stars, they lost some players, and they didn't look that good as before. So let's see what happened, but it will be very, very tough to USA to win this tournament. I think they can do it, but let's wait and see, because Poland proved last year in World Championship that they were ready, and they were ready to make that jump, especially with Wolosz and Stysiak play for the team. That has been a good improvement. So yeah, let's wait and see.
Okay, let's wrap it up because we are for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We talked about the Italian playoffs, the quarterfinals. We talked about the Champions League, both men and women. We talked about the Olympic qualifiers very extensively, both men and women. So I believe that we can do our next podcast after the end of the quarterfinals in Italy.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah,
or,
that means
after the semifinals. After the semifinals of Champions League, I don't know.
Yeah, probably we it could depend, because for example all quarterfinals in Italy can end on this Sunday, but we can also wait for the second semi-final matches in the Champions League and do it after that.
And you didn't talk about Posto Cinque, Quinto Posto playoff, who has been like crazy. I mean, why do we need five place playoff? Like teams really doesn't give a damn. I mean, I saw Padova beating like Cisterna 3-0 in their home. Like that doesn't happen in regular season. Some players, as you know, want to get summer vacation already and don't play at their best. So that's something crazy that has to be talking in the
Yeah.
in another moment. But for now, thank you very much, Bogdan, for having me. Let's wait that
Thank you.
let's expect that Nicola will be here next time. And yeah,
We can. We'll try to schedule it in a way that allows Nicola to join.
Okay.
Okay. Bye bye, guys. Thank you for watching or listening. And until the next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.